Okay, so first of all, I'd like to introduce to you Nicola now. I think Nicola's been amazingly brave because you do suffer from social anxiety, but through your music you're able to express yourself. So we're going to speak to you a bit first. You let us know maybe how it started. Mum's here to support as well, and you'll be telling us from your point of view. And then Audrey, you'll be telling us more about social anxiety, you know, what causes it, the symptoms, and also the treatment that's available.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Nicola, let's start with you. So when did you first realise that there was you had difficulty, like sort of being around people and socialising?
Well, it started in secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
There was girls in the older year, and it wasn't physical bullying, it was like whispering and looking, and that made me very anxious. And
was that the first time you'd experienced anything like that? So before that, everything was okay?
yeah, the first year of the secondary school I was fine.
Yeah.
I was quite happy and used to like doing drama, and I used to volunteer to read out to the class. And
Okay.
but then, yeah, there was these group of girls. So that made me anxious because I was just worried about them all the time, and I didn't want to be near them because I felt panicky, and I couldn't tell my friends because I was embarrassed. So, and I didn't eat because I was scared.
And were you in contact? Were they around for a few years, those girls? Because it was in school, you said, secondary school. But you tried to avoid them and stuff then?
Yeah, it was a few years. Well,
Did it affect your friendships? Because you said you had friends. Did you kind of close off from your friends as well, or were you okay with your friends?
I was fine with my friends.
Okay.
It's just I couldn't tell them that I was scared of other girls. Well, I didn't want to go to school. I found it very hard. And concentrating on my work as well. There was also girls in the same year as me as well. And I wasn't in the same classes as my friends, so it was even more hard. And people always used to ask me, why am I so quiet? And once,
Did that make you feel worse?
yeah, it did. And a teacher asked me in front of the whole class if I had a tongue. And it was really horrible. I always remember that. So stuff like that as well, and it made things worse for me.
Okay. All right, Mum, now, so when did you notice that Nicola was struggling with it?
Yes, when she was in the secondary school, and she started to tell me about these girls in the older year.
Yeah.
They used to whisper and giggle, and if she walked past them, they would sort of go silent and look at her, and you could hear whispering. I did mention it to the school. But then Nicola, at the age of 14, she got ill with a really bad virus. And for 2 weeks she was in bed. And when she recovered, it left her with ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. And so when she went back to school, she would text me all the time saying she was falling asleep, and obviously she was stressed as well about these girls. So she was dealing with two things now, the social anxiety as well as ME. She was home tutored because she couldn't attend school, so the education had to supply home tutors for her. Obviously, being at home now, she wasn't with her friends, that she became really quite isolated. So the only people really that she had was her immediate family, and her friend would come, one friend would come and visit her. But it was at that point that things seemed to, it became like a phobia. She, you know, in all situations, she was finding it really terrible. Panic attacks. She still gets like that now.
Now, Audrey, I'm going to bring you in now because can you tell us more about social anxiety, how it develops? And I know there's loads to talk about, but if you can...
Well, you explained it as a phobia, and it is a complex phobia. Simple phobias are things like a fear of spiders, where you can continue with going on your lives, but a complex phobia tends to be debilitating as well. It's exactly that feeling of you don't want to leave the house. You start avoiding the situations that make you feel very uncomfortable, very unpleasant. And also with social anxiety as well, there is a tendency to overanalyze, which then leads to a bit of a vicious circle where you start thinking, well, I mean, in your case, these girls sound absolutely horrible, but that does mean that any time you see anybody and they may talk about something which isn't even anything to do with you, you can't help but think, what's going on? So there is that tendency to overanalyze as well. And the thing about social anxiety is that it used to be, when we had the DSM-4 classification, a childhood disorder, but it's now been recognised in adults in the DSM-5, but it is that chronic fear to the point of avoiding the situation over a period of more than 6 months, and this is clearly a social anxiety situation. It is different from shyness. Shyness, exactly as you say, you can have 1 or 2 friends, you may be quiet, but you don't mind social situations. With social anxiety, it is the palpitations, it's the sweating, nausea, all of those horrible physical symptoms, and sometimes it's even the fear of displaying the symptoms that stop you from going out at all.
Okay. Now, Nicola, I'm going to talk about your music now, because the music, actually writing about things has helped you. Have you always been musical, would you say?
I always wanted to learn the guitar, and I've always liked music, but I've not. It started from 16.
Okay. And tell us about the songs that you write, because you're going to perform in one later called Social Anxiety, as I said in the intro. So how did you go about starting it all? Because now you have your YouTube channel, you post your songs there, you've got loads of followers.
Well, it started, I decided to do it a year ago.
It's only been a year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I did want to do it for a few years before, but I was very nervous about what people would say about my songs and that. But I just decided that I'd like to share them.
Yeah.
And
what was the first song that you wrote? Do you remember? Was it Social Anxiety, was it?
No.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was. It was not a very good one, though. Your first songs are not very good.
You'll try one, a practice one.
Yeah. Well, it's like therapy for me. And it's like getting it off my chest, what I'm going through.
Yeah.
It really helps me feel a lot better after I write a song.
And how have people been like, because you said before that you were kind of a bit scared about how people would react and stuff. How's the feedback been?
Very positive.
Yeah.
So that's helped me a lot. So all the messages I receive, it really helps me. And other people who suffer with social anxiety and depression as well. And they can say they really relate to my music.
Yeah.
Don't know why I
Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show.